Now, he's never been to Syria. He's got no military experience, but from his living room in Leicester, blogger Elliot Higgins has managed to expose the scale of arms trafficking to Syria from Croatia via Saudi Arabia with the full knowledge of Western allies. He's also charted the Syrian army's use of cluster bombs, a practice it officially denies. So how has this stay-at-home dad turned himself into a top-flight intelligence analyst? Warwick O'Brien reports.
The Syrian conflict, an entire war on YouTube. Thousands of hours of footage from thousands of miles away, available to view on a laptop, on a sofa in Leicester. Elliot Higgins' sofa.
And here, look.
The 34-year-old recently made redundant from an admin job. His wife works. He looks after Ella.
Whoops.
Days divided up between Peppa Pig and the mechanics of war. His blog started as a hobby, a sort of artillery train spotting.
You've got a M60 recorderless gun, which is from Yugoslavia. The M79 Ossa, that's also from Yugoslavia.
But then it became much more. He started cross-referencing tiny details on weapons.
That would be the factory code and the date it was made.
Joining dots. Then the New York Times got interested.
They'd been purchased from Croatia by Saudi Arabia and then flown over to Jordan and smuggled over the border into the south of Syria. So it's the first solid evidence that a country had been arming the Syrian rebels.
Is this journalism, though, or is it something else? To what extent is this artillery porn?
I've always tried to avoid anything that's too over the top, and because my interest is tracking the sort of escalation in the conflict, sort of building a wider understanding of what's going on in the ground, producing useful information for people.
People like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. Elliot is helping them map the use of cluster bombs in Syria.
We're going to see a lot more of this, I suspect. The thing with Elliot is he's very diligent, he's got an eagle eye, and he knows what arms researchers are in particular looking for.
The story doesn't end there, though. This is an M79 Ossa rocket launcher. It was destined for moderate rebels in Syria. But that is not a moderate rebel. Elliot Higgins started seeing the weapon popping up on websites belonging to Jabhat al-Nusra, a hardline jihadist group, underlying the fact that in Syria, arming the right people is a very messy business indeed. Another big player in the world of Syrian artillery spotting, the American blog EA World View. They've analysed the IP addresses of regular readers.
Oh, I think we're having a very large effect. And there are people at high levels of government, both the United States government, the UK government, the Middle East. So people are really tuning into our coverage.
Which poses the question, could this work, even in a small way, inform the West's decision to arm or not to arm the Syrian opposition? Elliot Higgins spends about 5 hours a day poring over the mechanics of this conflict. As good a one as any to ask, who's winning?
I think the Syrian opposition are winning very slowly. The problem is they're winning so slow. There might not be much of a country left when they do win.
He sees his work as complementing, not supplanting the war correspondent. Because, of course, you can't count the human cost of this from a sofa in Leicester. Children don't come with reference numbers. You just have to be there for that.